Hello, my friends. I'm so sorry we are starting a little bit late tonight. We had some technical difficulties just before we were going to go live. Something happened and we got kicked out of Facebook. So here we all are, and we are going to explore a variation of a very simple bracelet that actually I have made many times. So every time I make a bracelet like this, I mix it up a little bit. I use different stones, I use different chain, but the techniques are essentially the same. So today I am exploring a slightly edgier variation, and I will talk about that. Also, this is a variation that I like a lot because it is weighted. And so that comes into play when you wear your bracelet and you want your beautiful stones to stay right on top of your wrist rather than keep sliding. So we will talk about making a weighted bracelet. We will talk about how to add a little bit of an edge to your bracelet. And we are using a single stone, and sometimes using just one type of stone can be very impactful because you have this beautiful block of natural stone, and so it's sort of a color block of sorts. And I really enjoy this look. So let's get a little closer and we will start exploring the look as well as how to make it. All right, guys, so again, this is a single stone variation of this bracelet, and I will point out some of the usual features. You know what, I kind of wish I would have grabbed maybe a different variation of this, but I'll just talk about it.
Rita says hi, everyone.
Hi, Rita.
Julie says hello, all.
Hi, Julie.
Sandy A says happy to see you.
Hi, Sandy. I'm so happy to hear from you.
Jane says hi, everyone.
Hi, Jane. How are you, my friend? Tell me in the comments.
And Betty says hello. Good evening, you guys.
Hi, Betty. It's so nice to hear from all of you guys.
Trudy says hello, all. Glad you made it.
Hi, Trudy. I am so glad I made it as well. For a couple of minutes there, it was touch and go.
Fonda says hello, everyone.
Hi, Fonda.
And Lynn C says hi, Irina, Tony, Lauren, and everyone.
Hi, Lynn.
And Karen says good evening, everyone.
Hi, Karen.
Pammy W says good evening, Irina, Tony, and Lauren. You got it. Going through. Hooray.
Yay, hooray.
Robin says hi.
Hi, Robin.
Rita says beautiful bracelet.
Thank you so much, Rita.
And Jane says doing well here. Hope you are too.
Oh, yay. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're doing well. And yes, we are. We're enjoying the beautiful sunshine today.
Connie says hello, everyone. Those are gorgeous.
Thank you so much, Connie. All right, guys. So I'm just going to clasp one of these just so that you can see that I'm clasping it right into this chunky chain. So these, in fact, are wonderful layering pieces as well. If you enjoy layering your bracelets, and we've talked about this many times before, this is a design that you can do that with because it's just a fun way to add color and design to your wrist. So let's talk about, first of all, making a weighted bracelet. So you can see that, in fact, you know what? I will take these off so that you can see all of the features.
Dee says hi, Rita and Tony.
Hi, Dee. I'm so glad that you guys are all here to join me to make these bracelets. All right, guys. So this is a bracelet I'm calling Casual Chic, and that's exactly what it is. It feels chic, it looks chic, but yet it's very casual. It's wear with anything type of piece. So Some of the features, beads are what we like to play with. In fact, I have a little bit of a shop update in a minute. So we have a little bit of beads, and so this is somewhere between 4 and 5 inches of beads. And then on either side of the beads, we have our super chunky chain, and then we have our super chunky clasp. So what does that do to a design? When you want to make something just a little bit edgy, you can play with the proportions, and by scaling up and scaling down, and I've been talking about scaling a little bit, especially when I've done my videos on sun catchers. In fact, I have one of my sun catchers right here. The reason I have it is because we have restocked the whimsical sun catchers, but it's not about that. So, well, maybe it is a little bit about that. So, so far, I have talked about scaling in the context of, well, if you make something really big, now it can go from a pendant to a sun catcher. Now, if we make the same exact shape really small, it can go to a pendant and maybe even make it a little smaller, and that can be an earring. So when I'm talking about this, it's not quite as dramatic. I'm talking about the size of beads that we're using, but also the size of the chain and the size of the clasp. So when we have a fairly kind of a small to medium, I would say, bead, so I would say that my bumblebee beads are, so this is bumblebee jasper. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. It's a very hard to find jasper. It's very unusual. I have some cabochons here to show you. These are not in the Etsy shop, but I grabbed them just because I wanted you to see the beauty of the stone. And so this is one of the most unusual stones, I would say. And this is a great way to feature it. But when we have beads that are, say, 6 to 8 millimeters in diameter, and then we pair them with really chunky chain and really chunky clasps.
Kathy D says, hi, everyone.
Hi, Kathy. It's so nice that you joined us today.
Jackie says, excited to be here again. Ordered the jewel wavy bracelet assortment. Can't wait to get it.
Oh, yay. I'm so glad. Oh, my gosh. You're going to love it. Everybody loves that one.
Yolanda says, good evening. I made it.
Good evening, Yolanda. I'm so glad you made it.
Kathy M says, is the stone dyed?
No,
That's a good question.
No, Kathy, you know what? I'm so glad you asked. No, you would think, but this is actually very, very natural. This is the natural color of the stone. And this is one of the most unusual jaspers that are found in nature. It is not very common. In fact, it's not common at all. And this is the first year that we were actually able to get beads in the stone. For the past, it's one of the newer finds. I forget where it comes from. In fact, if anybody wants to look it up and let us know, I used to know, but I'm drawing a blank.
Little tiny bumblebees mine it.
Yes, it's mined by little tiny bees. But okay, guys, so until now we were able to get the cabochons, but as of just a few months ago, we were able to get these beads in, and this is very, very exciting.
Kathy G says, beautiful bumblebee.
Oh, thank you so much, Kathy.
Teresa says, joining in.
Hi, Teresa, and welcome.
And Katie S says, beautiful. I'm not familiar with bumblebee jasper.
Oh, thank you. And now you are. So, yes, it's definitely one of the more rare jaspers.
Glenda says, hi, all.
Hi, Glenda.
And Jackie says, oh, no, I'll be needing those.
Oh, Yes, of course you do. Everybody does. They're so beautiful and so unusual.
Robin says beautiful.
Thank you, Robin.
And Barb says so beautiful. Are all these pieces or kits also in the store?
Good question. Who asked this?
Barb.
Barb. Thank you for asking, Barb. And not yet, but as of tomorrow. So right now they are in the Etsy shop. Both of these are in the Etsy shop, but they will be in the store as of tomorrow. I would say by tomorrow afternoon they will be done. All right, guys. So
Janice says hello, Irina and Tony.
hi, Janice.
Fonda says, I think I need some bumblebee stones now.
Yes, it's so unusual and it's just so unique.
Glenda says, love jasper and agates.
Thank you so much. I do too. They have so much character. They're just beautiful.
And Katie S says it's mined exclusively from Mount Papandayan in Indonesia.
Indonesia.
Probably.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes.
Kim J says Indonesia.
Yes, I remember that it's something that comes from one place in the world, unlike some of the other stones that are much more common. But yes, this comes from one place in the world and it is just so unique. All right, guys. So again, getting back to the stone, and when you have these beautiful and unique stones, and that's why I use these stones that just really kind of speak for themselves. The apatite is not quite as uncommon, but apatite is also very, very beautiful. It's those oceany kind of blues that I really love, kind of a blue teal. But getting back to the construction. So there's very, very simple construction in this. And of course, I will do a demo. But even when you use something as simple in construction as this, there is still a little bit of engineering that goes into it. So we're going to be using crimps. We're going to be using crimp covers, wire guardians, the usual. But in addition to that, some of my choices, as I was saying, some of the oversized chain. So that actually adds to the design of the piece, as well as it serves as an extender chain very, very nicely, so that we can just use that beautiful chunky Rollo to hook into at any point. So any one of the Rollo links can be our point of clasping.
Jane says, love the cut of the apatite.
Oh, thank you, Jane. This is a new cut. And in fact, you know what? As we're chatting, I can show you some of the other beads in the same cut. This is called the lantern cut. And it comes in a variety of sizes. And I'm showing you some of the beads that are in the Etsy shop as of today, actually. So we have been working hard to list these in the Etsy shop. And this is actually a really good time to mention. So, okay, so if we look at the 8 millimeters and what is this, 10 millimeters maybe? 10 millimeters and then 12 millimeters. And here is one that is, I don't know, is this 10 millimeters? Is it? I don't know.
It's 9.
It's 9. Okay, that makes sense. So 8, 9, and then there is 12 and, no, 10 and 12. So this is a really good way to illustrate the different sizes in the same cut. And when you use different sizes in the same cut, since we're talking about scaling, so scaling can also refer to sizing, right? So when we use larger beads, you are going to need a few more of those beads, or at least you need more length, because as we go up in size, the whole of the bead gets further and further away from your wrist, And so you're just going to need more length. Please let me know if that makes sense to you, because it makes sense in my head, but I really want it to make sense to you. So the largest bead here is, of course, a gorgeous dark amethyst. And then we already mentioned that the bracelet is in apatite. Then we have the morganite. The multi here is the morganite, very beautiful. We have the aquamarine and emerald and hawk's eye.
Eagle.
Oh, eagle eye. I always call it hawk's eye. They're very related. There is a stone that's called hawk's eye.
Fonda says makes sense, and Lori says I get it.
Oh, fantastic. Yay. So should you decide to make a bracelet like this in a larger stone, just go a little longer with the beads.
Barb says, I just love the designs on these bracelets. It's great when sizing is flexible, especially for gifts.
Thank you so much. That brings me to the next point.
And Rita was wondering if those bracelets are kits.
Yes, Rita, thank you so much for asking. So as of right now, these two bracelets are kits. And today I'm actually going to be making another bracelet, which will end up being another sample for a newer kit for sometime next week. So, but yes, in the meantime, these two are kits. And they're available in the Etsy shop. And as of tomorrow afternoon, they will also be available in the store here in at Eclectica. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about, again, sizing and also making gifts, because somebody was just reading my mind. When you're making bracelets for someone else, it's just that much more important to make them a little bit flexible as far as sizing. Maybe you're making gifts, maybe you sell your pieces, and maybe you're making a piece for somebody who is still growing. I don't know. You know, maybe you have a daughter or a niece, and maybe you're not sure that her wrist is going to stay the same size. So this is a really fun, stylish way to deal with all of those issues. So because you can hook into the first link, the last link, or anywhere in between. And of course, this oversized Rolo is such a good complement to the oversized lobster claw. And together, they make for a very contemporary, kind of very modern look with a little bit of an edge. So there it is. That is my design process. So whenever you want to make something just a little bit more edgy, think about scaling up or scaling down. So in addition to the main bead in the bracelet itself, I used a single bead as a little bauble, and that just kind of contributes to the overall look of the bracelet. We have that kind of a fun little charm, and of course there is a charm. There's a little bird charm on the apatite bracelet, and the reason I picked a bird is because I was thinking bluebird of happiness. And of course the bumblebee, it was just kind of a no-brainer to pick the bee for the bumblebee bracelet.
Robin says love it.
Thank you, Robin. And what else can I tell you? I think we're ready to just get going with the actual creating of the bracelet. So this bracelet is so simple, you guys, to make. It's just crazy simple. This is something that is doable by a beginner. So if you have beginner friends, please do share this video with them, because anybody can just follow this. And this is going to cover crimping basics and stringing basics. What else? Opening jump rings and even a wrap loop. So we will start stringing. And as my main bead, I chose carnelian. And I'll tell you why. Because I was thinking about doing something with a butterfly. I love butterflies. I love monarchs. And then I found this awesome little charm. And it really looks like a monarch. And is there anything that is more similar to a monarch in the stone world than a carnelian? Well, maybe there's a red jasper too, but this carnelian is just so lovely. It has so many different shades, and it just really reminded me of the monarch butterflies. And I know so many people who are raising them and feeding them, and we have planted a bunch of plants in our yard that encourage them. So I think monarchs are just beautiful. All right, guys. So I have a crimp on my length of soft flex, which is what you guys will be getting with your kit. And I know that many of you have done this many times before, but I'm not assuming that everyone has. So we are using a, what is it called?
Wire guardian.
Wire guardian. Yes, thanks, Tony. So a wire guardian. And a wire guardian has two little tubes on either side. So we're putting our wire, our soft flex, through those little tubes. And then, so I have about maybe an inch of soft flex coming back out of the wire guardian. So there it is. And now we're going to put the crimp over both sides of the soft flex. So it looks something like that. I like to bring the two sides of the wire guardian together like this so that I can get just a little bit closer with my crimp. Now you do want to have just a little bit of room between the crimp and the wire guardian. And now we're going to line up our crimper, and you can see the two openings in the crimper. So you can see the one that looks like a kidney bean, and we will put that little kidney bean opening right over our crimp and line it up so that the crimp is hidden within the opening. And now we're just going to give it a nice squeeze. And what that did is it reshaped my crimp. You can see that. And we're going to do it again. And this time we're using the other opening, the one that's oval. And that just folded the crimp in half. And it's that crimp that is going to hold our wire in place, right? Because we can't not soft flex. And that is why we just went through the exercise of crimping. So now we are going to grab one of the crimp covers, and this is a crimp cover right here, and I'm going to just come up on it from the opposite side of the opening so that the opening is still very accessible, and that opening goes right over the crimp. So can you guys see? It goes right over the crimp, and now I'm squeezing. So you squeeze until that opening is very small. So there's that opening. It's like a little tiny Pac-Man. And now we're going to close it. And in order to close it, I shift my flat nose pliers to where I'm right on the edge of the crimp cover, and I push on that side. And now I'm going to do the same on the opposite side, and eventually The okay, it just kind of slid a little bit askew, so I'm fixing that. And so eventually, the two sides of the bead should come together for a barely noticeable seam. So that is what it's going to look like. Just looks like a round bead. So there it is. And now I'm going to string my bracelet. And I'm just, since I didn't grab a ruler, I'm just going to use this as my measurement. And since we are keeping this one very, very simple, because, you know, for a bracelet like that, as I was saying, using that single bead is just, or, you know, single stone is so impactful. It's just so impressive to see the beauty of the stone in different beads. Of course, depending on the stone, it will, like for example, this carnelian has a lot of variation, and you see so many different parts of the pattern. It has a little bit of banding, it has darker spots and lighter spots. So I think it's really evocative of a monarch butterfly. All right, so let's see how we're doing in terms of the length. We're getting there.
Robin says, I always drop the crimp cover.
Well, you know what I did? If you just hold on to it with your flat nose pliers and you start squeezing immediately once the crimp is inside, just give that a try.
And Katie S. says, oh, she says, great close-ups, Tony.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you. Yeah, Tony is a pro at close-ups. What do you guys think? Maybe one more? I'm going to say one more bead because, I mean, we could probably get away with stopping right here. But, well, you know what? Maybe this is good. I think maybe this is enough because even though the carnelian bead is just a little bit larger than the apatite, but we already have a little bit more length right there. And also, we will have that chunky chain. And the thing is, if you make it too long, then you lose the opportunity for the chunky chain.
Holly says, are you using silver seed beads in between?
I am indeed. Thank you for asking, Holly. I forgot to mention that. I am using, oh, I don't know what, no, actually, I did mean to do that. So I did just string the other crimp on here. And now I will repeat the same process on this side. So yes, I am using silver seed beads. And these are those same seed beads that I always talk about. It's these guys right here, remember? I have them in 15-ohs, 11-ohs, and 8-ohs, and occasionally in 6-ohs. And they are the metal seed beads, and they have a really nice big opening.
Yolanda says, love it.
Oh, yay. Thank you, Yolanda. All right, guys. So now we are just going to get a little closer so we don't have that big gap in our wire. And it's just kind of, sometimes you just kind of have to finagle it a little. And now we are going to keep in mind that there's still going to be a crimp cover. So that means we need a little bit of extra room, but not a lot. So I just did that same thing that I did on the first side, where I squeezed the two sides of the crimp, the wire guardian rather. And now we just need to get a little closer. And I want to say we're there. So a little bit of that space is really important because A, we need to have enough room for our crimp cover, and B, we want to have our bracelet not too stiff. We want it flexible, right?
And if we make it a little too close, I'm just checking, just making sure that it's not too close. So if we make it too close as far as like no space between the bead and the crimp, your bracelet will not want to bend, and that sort of defeats the entire purpose of making a bracelet. All right, guys, so now we are just going to trim the excess wire, and we're going to put the other crimp cover over the crimp. So again, this is the easy way to put a crimp cover on. Just sneak up on it like this so that the opening is really easily accessible. And then the opening goes right over the crimp bead, and just start squeezing immediately. Like, don't stop and readjust, just start squeezing. And sometimes, you know, when I do that, especially when I do it a little bit too quickly, like I just did it now, it's a little bit askew. So remember, I just showed you before that you can fix it, you know, just kind of finesse it a little bit. You can fix if the two sides are a little bit askew by squeezing it like this in opposite directions. So I'm fixing it right now. But really, the best way to do it is just don't rush as you are putting that crimp cover on. Okay, and there is my crimp cover. And now you can see my bracelet is flexible. And now I am going to construct the rest of it. So we're going to need a few links of the chain. And in your kits, you get, I don't remember exactly how many, but you get way more than you actually need. And this is just in case, so that you don't have issues with sizing. But I know what I used in the bracelets, and that is 3 links on one side and six links on the other side, or maybe 7. So one of the awesome things about this chain is that it's like a bunch of jump rings, and we can just open a link. And if you remember that other Rolo that I use sometimes for crimping, I know that some of you will remember, it opens like this, just like a jump ring.
Yolanda says so very pretty.
Oh, thank you so much, Yolanda. All right, guys, so it just opens and closes just like a jump ring. It's very easy to use. It's really a wonderful chain. And it's a lot easier to do this, guys, than try to cut through it. So just don't cut through it. Use your flat nose and your chain nose, and you can even use this as a single jump ring. You can use it for a bail sometimes. It's really very fun.
Katie S. is wondering, will the chain and the chunky clasps be available in Etsy?
Katie, thank you for asking. So I do know that at least one style of the chunky clasp is in the Etsy shop. The chain, I don't think is in the Etsy shop, but we will just have to work on that. But in the
clasp
meantime,
is in featured on Facebook.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so you will find the clasp in the featured on Facebook section. And in the meantime, of course, the chain will be included in your kits. But we'll see. We'll see if we can get more. I'm not even sure if we can get more of this chain. And if we can, then maybe we will list the chain by itself in the Etsy shop.
Karen is wondering what size is the Rolo.
Oh, Karen, it is big. It's a big size. I'm going to say it's like maybe 6 or 7 millimeters in diameter. Maybe 8. I think maybe it's 8. Well, I will say it's between 7 and 8 millimeters in diameter. It is chunky.
Lindsay says you give the bracelets a little bit of air so it's flexible.
Exactly, Lynn. Yes, that's a great way to put it. Okay, guys, so I have 3 links on one side, and let's count 6 links on the other side. And of course, I'm connecting everything with these nice chunky jump rings. And now we are going to, and of course, if you need a larger size, you can always have more chain, because you do have extra chain. And now we're going to connect the clasp.
Karen says it is beautiful.
Thank you so much, Karen. And you guys, can you see how incredibly easy it is to make? It is just so easy to make something that is so impactful and so fun. And you make this as a gift, and your friends are going to be like, oh my God, I can't even believe you made this. Because, you know, it looks so well finished. It just, I don't know. I think it's pretty impressive for how very, very easy this is. All right, so now we have a couple more things here. So we're going to attach a jump ring to our lovely little butterfly.
Karen says definitely a statement piece.
Yes, thank you, Karen. Absolutely. I would say it is a statement piece. And oh no, I think I grabbed the wrong jump ring. Well, no, it works. It works. Crisis averted. So this is a smaller jump ring, and again, we're just going to close it. So now we're all set with the butterfly. And one more. Now we're just going to put one of these beautiful carnelian beads on a ball pin and make a little wrapped loop.
Connie says the carnelian makes a beautiful statement.
Thank you, Connie. You know, I am a big fan of carnelian. Of course, I'm a big fan of a lot of different stones. But speaking of carnelian, here's a little tiny preview of what we're doing tomorrow, guys. And even in this, I have a little bit of carnelian. I think it's just, you know, it adds so much character to our creations. And this, of course, is kind of the opposite of today's project, where this is not a unique stone type piece. This is the Bollywood tassel. So just the name suggests that it's going to be multicolor and very vibrant in color. And in fact, this one is already listed, but tomorrow I am making one that is very different from this one in color. In fact, this one is all made with gemstones, and tomorrow I'm using I want to say all Swarovski, and so that gives it a different look. It gives it more of a sparkle. It gives it just more of a gemmy kind of jewel type of look.
Peggy says, Irina, you make all the projects look so easy.
Oh, thank you so much, Peggy. But you know what? I promise you, this one really is so easy. Really, even a beginner can do this.
Robin says, well finished.
Thank you so much, Robin.
Jane says, I love that tassel.
Thanks, Jane. You know what? I had so much fun playing with the tassel. Oh my gosh, I love tassels. I'm a big fan of tassels, period. And I really like different ethnic influences. And of course, India has such beautiful influences in terms of color and design. So hence Bollywood. And I'm going to need to use another pair of pliers here. So this is what I'll do. I will use my tapered flat nose pliers. Remember, this is my little yellow handled friend, and this is actually called tapered flat nose. And because I didn't have a whole lot of wire at the end of this, I ended up using a chain nose and a tapered flat nose, and that was perfect. It was just enough wire on my ball pin. And now
Kathy
yeah.
D says so beautiful.
Thank you so much, Kathy. And so now we're just going to connect everything. Let's hope that I made the loop large enough. I think I did, but we will find out. So let's see, will this loop fit over the side of the jump ring? Oh boy, maybe not so much. Okay, I'm going to show you a really cool little trick. So if you, of course it wants to spin. All right, so again, we need to have 2 different pairs of pliers. So if we manage, I don't know, I might just have to redo this a little bit. But if we unwrap the loop a little bit, and now of course I need to reshape it a little bit, but now we'll just kind of reshape the loop itself.
Karen says, I
and
use
around.
those pliers all the time.
Oh yes, Karen, I'm so glad you do. It's a really awesome pair of pliers. You know, I may just want to redo this, but just to show you that you can, check this out. My loop is that much, well, yeah, it's a little larger. I could force it open just a little bit, but you know what? It's just easier since I did grab an extra ball pin just in case. I'm just going to redo this really quickly. It happens, you guys. Sometimes we just underestimate, and then we just do it again.
Pammy J says, hi everyone, a phone call distracted me.
Hi, Pammy J. Well, I'm so glad you're here now.
And Lonnie says, boy, am I late. Going to have to watch the replay.
Lonnie, thanks for joining us. And if you guys are just joining us, we are making, in fact, I'll show you the bracelets in a second, but the cool thing about these bracelets is that they are weighted. So weighted bracelets means that your beads are going to stay on top and they're not going to slide down with your clasp on top of your wrist. So the really pretty part that you really want to show off is going to stay on top. So again, I'm using my tapered flat nose. There we go. And this time I made a larger loop. Yay, I remembered. So there we go. So that fits really nicely. So, and then of course, in addition to the chain being a little heavier than normally you see chain in bracelets like this, and then we have a nice heavy clasp, and oh God, you guys, I'm dropping everything today. What does that mean? Am I expecting guests or something? Maybe you guys are coming. Come on down. So, so in addition to the heavier chain and the heavier clasp, we also have a little charm, and we also made an additional charm with our bead. And so that all adds up for a nicely weighted bracelet, so that all of this is just going to pull down and our beads stay at the top. So it's going to look something like this. In fact, now that I'm done, I'm just going to model all 3 of the bracelets. So this is the newest one.
Fonda says, lost internet for a few minutes. We'll have to catch up on the replay.
Oh yes, absolutely, Fonda. That's, of course, the beauty of this. You guys can rewatch whenever you want to. And in fact, this is a good time for me to remind you that the directions for these kits are this very video. So when you do get the kits, they do not come with printed directions. They come with a picture, so you remember what the bracelet looks like. And the directions, of course, is this video. So the other fun thing about these bracelets is that they're fun to stack. So I love just stacking these different rows of color. Actually, you know what? I want the clasp on this side because it's easier for me to clasp it from this side.
Robin says, so pretty.
Thank you so much, Robin.
And Pammy J says, love the idea of weighting the closure.
Yes, it works so well. I mean, like, look, if I hope this doesn't make you crazy. So you see what I'm doing? I'm really moving my wrist, and look where my beads are staying. Okay, I'm being a little wild about this right now, but you know, for the most part, my beads are staying right where I want them.
Karen says, primary colors, love the stack.
Oh, yay. Thanks so much, Karen. I love these colors. They're so vibrant and just beautiful. It's amazing that nature makes this. These are absolutely natural colors. A little earlier in the video, for anybody who didn't join us until later, I did talk about the bumblebee bracelet, and this is the natural color. It's really absolutely amazing. This is the natural color of the bumblebee. And of course, apatite and carnelian are natural as well. But those most people at this point are familiar with. And bumblebee is a newer jasper, a newer find, and not a lot of people are familiar with that. You would have seen apatite maybe in slabs like this. In fact, I included this type of a pendant in my book kit. You may have seen it in that if you have a book kit.
Barb says, I love that bumblebee.
Oh, thank you so much, Barb. I love the bumblebee too, because you know it's kind of almost quirky. It's hard to believe that nature actually makes things like this. It's really amazing. And of course, I love bumblebees. Our bumblebees are just so special, especially our native bees. They're so cool. And we try to plant things that encourage them to hang out in our yard, as well as the monarchs too, which is the carnelian bracelet is the inspiration. The monarch is the inspiration for that, so hence the butterfly right there. All right, guys, and so if we want to, here, I'm just going to
Fonda
show
says,
you
I
the-
love the stacking idea.
Thank you so much, Fonda. So each one of these has their own little charm. So the apatite is the bluebird of happiness, and then we have the monarch and the bumblebee. All right, guys, so I believe we just accomplished everything that we meant to. So as we are looking at some of the other beads that are new, this is more of a shop update. So this is what's new in the Etsy shop. This is a bit too chunky for a bracelet, but this is actually these are gorgeous. They are, what's the word?
Dog's tooth amethyst.
Yeah, no.
Chevron. Graduated.
Graduated, thank you.
Ah, charades.
So, charades, you guys. I know you can't see us playing charades.
Lonnie's-
But anyway, dogtooth amethyst, they're graduated, absolutely gorgeous. They're rondelles.
Lonnie says, do you sell the bumblebee jasper beads not in a kit?
We have them in the store. If you are interested, you can always get in touch with Kathy, and she'll quote you prices and so forth. We frankly did not get enough of it in to probably list on Etsy. We just don't have that much of it. But if you're interested, you guys know you can always get in touch with Kathy, and she's so awesome. She will set you up with anything that you're interested in.
Peggy says, do you have the charms in the regular store?
We do. We do have so many charms, you guys. Come on down. And of course, if you come in, you can really customize your own colors, your own charms.
Connie says, thank you so much. Always inspirational.
Yay! Thank you so much, Connie.
Jane says, wow.
Well, thank you for your wow, Jane.
Yolanda says, oh, nice.
Thank you so much.
And Sandy says, love the barrel-shaped beads.
Yay! The barrel-shaped beads are amazing. It's just such a beautiful cut. It's actually a new cut as of this year. We just got them in a couple of months ago. Oh, and in fact, they're still trickling in. We're still getting them in. We should get even more sometime next week. But it's such a beautiful cut. I have a feeling this cut is here to stay and become a classic. It's like if a faceted round bead and an oval bead were to have a very elegant baby. It's kind of like that.
Holly says, love this project.
Oh, thank you so much, Holly.
Robin says, Kathy is great.
Yes, thank you so much. We love our Kathy.
Janet says, beautiful, each one.
Thank you so much, Janet.
Bridget says, hi, what is the stone strand with the light blue and browns?
The light blue and browns, are you thinking this one maybe? And I don't know if it reads as browns. It's actually a light pink. This is morganite. I'm assuming it's this one, but maybe not. Tell me if I'm not pointing to the right strand.
Glenda says, love the show, gotta go.
Oh, thank you so much. All right, guys. So as we're getting to the end, I just want to mention a few more things. So be sure to subscribe by clicking the bell. So, you know, the Facebook Live, now they've changed how you can subscribe. So if you want to be notified when the videos are about to go live, please click that bell, and that's all you need to do. It's just that easy now. And also, of course, tomorrow I have an event, and that is the Bollywood tassel, which is right here. And Monday, don't forget about the stitching event.
And Trudy says, love all the new bracelets.
Thank you so much, Trudy.
Lonnie says, beautiful beads. Hope you have a happy evening.
Thank you so much.
Karen says,
and I
thank
hope
you.
you do as well.
Karen says, thank you for sharing your time and talent. Your designs inspire me.
Oh, thank you so much, Karen. You know, I love these videos. I love sharing with you guys, and I love hearing from you guys.
Fonda says, thank you for for sharing and inspiration.
Thank you so much, Fonda.
Karen says, good night. Thank you, Irina, Tony, and Lauren. See you in the morning.
Good night, Karen.
Holly says, well said.
Okay, I agree.
Oh, it was a reply to Karen, sorry.
Oh,
hi, sorry for being, Carmen says, hi, sorry for being late. We'll watch the replay.
Hi, Carmen. Yeah, please do. We made a fun bracelet. We looked at some cool beads. I think you will enjoy it.
Barb says, I can't wait to make my own and one for a friend.
Awesome.
Lindsay says, this is such a lovely bracelet design, Irina. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lynn. Well, thank you so much, you guys.
Jane says, thanks, Irina, Tony, and Lauren.
Thank you, Jane.
Lilia says, gorgeous as usual. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Well, thank you for your wonderful, sweet comments. I love them. And I'm so glad you guys enjoyed this project. And you have a wonderful and creative evening.